right now we're going to be starting chapter 1, which is on voting methods. So before I get into the first voting method, I'll just tell you a little bit about what we're doing in this chapter. In this chapter, we're going to be looking at voting methods. Voting methods are a combination of political science, economics, and math. And in this first chapter, we're going to look at a couple different ways of tallying votes. One of them you've probably seen before. You may have heard of some of these terms. Other things are going to be completely new. The first type of voting method we're going to look at is something called plurality. Plurality is a voting method where each voter chooses one choice on the ballot, or they all each choose one candidate, and then at the end, whichever choice has the most votes wins. Now we'll look at one example of that. Let's say back before we had to do everything with distance learning, a vote was taken on which Queens College campus building is the most confusing to navigate, and the votes were tallied as follows. Kylie Hall got 11 votes, Clapper Hall got 14 votes, the Science Building got 5 votes. In part A, they're asking us which building would win the title of most confusing, so which of these 3 buildings has the most votes for being confusing. And then in part B, they're saying, well, let's suppose the Science Building was removed as a candidate. If everyone who voted for the Science Building voted again, could the winner of the election potentially change? So first we'll look at part A. Which building would win the title of most confusing? If we look at all of the votes here, we see that Clapper Hall has the highest number of votes. So 14 is the greatest number of votes, so this is exactly what we think it would be. This would be Clapper Hall because it has the most votes. Now we'll take a look at part B, which is a little bit different. So here we're going to assume that the Science Building is being removed as a candidate. So we're saying you can't vote for this choice anymore. Now we're being asked if everybody who voted for the Science Building voted again, could the winner of the election potentially change? So we now have 5 votes and we can kind of hand them out however we want. So these 5 people are now going to be forced to either vote for Kylie Hall or Clapper Hall. Maybe we have a situation where, I don't know, let's say maybe 3 of them vote for Kylie and 2 of them vote for Clapper, right? That's still 5 votes we're adding on. And then in this case, we would end up with 14 votes, and here we would end up with 16 votes. Clapper Hall would still win. But let's look at this again. So originally Kylie had 11 and Clapper had 14. Let's say all 5 people vote for Kylie Hall now. Well, if we add those 5 votes over there, we end up getting, what's this, 16 and that's 14. Kylie Hall could win. That's one possible outcome. Now let's say we had done this differently. We could add 4 of the extra votes for the Science Building to Kylie, and we could add 1 to Clapper. Right, that's still 5 extra votes total that we're adding. And if we do this, we end up with 15 and 15. So we could also end up having a tie. So the answer to this question would be, yes, the winner could potentially change because we've seen a situation where if these 5 people have to vote differently, we could see Kylie Hall win, or we could see a tie between the 2 choices.